What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for December 2023. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Wednesday edition of the podcast. Let's start with a recap of yesterday's question of the day. We were discussing the 2000-2001 Temple men's basketball team that went to the Elite Eight, John Chaney's fifth and final trip there. And it got me thinking of the other four, which team was the best, and it was split. When I say it was evenly split between all of the four other teams, we had a ton of people vote and reach out, but it was 100% split. And I don't think you'll get an argument from me there. I think probably either the 98-99 team or the 87-88 team was probably the better one. I think the 87-88 team was just a great team. But a lot of the feedback, and I will agree with this, of all of the teams John Chaney had, that 99-2000 team that got upset in the second round had the best shot of going to the Final Four. I still have PTSD from Ty Shine, and I don't think I'll ever be able to go to the city of Buffalo ever again. Probably not that I'd want to. But, sorry, just kidding. If we have fans in Buffalo, I apologize. It was a joke. But you guys know it gets cold up there. All right. Thank you for, as always, participating in the question of the day. We're starting to grow this thing, and more info on the hotline coming up soon. I plan on working on some things this weekend, especially because the Eagles play late, so I'll have some time on Sunday to get some things done, so stay tuned for that. There will be another question of the day later in the show. Just a reminder, no new Back to the Future this week. I'm going to an every other week schedule. But the latest episode, we took a look at the career of Eric Lindros. It's also a good time to check out and relive the archives. That's Back to the Future with a PH, wherever you get your podcast or on YouTube. All right, we've been talking about time is running out to get your gift cards in for the Matty Ann Dixon Community Cupboard. Again, they're looking for $25 gift cards for Amazon, Target, or Walmart, and it's just a way to give people who can't afford to buy presents a chance to buy some presents. Sent mine out the other day. You can either drop them off or get in contact with them, and I don't know, it might be a little late to mail, but let me know if you have any questions about that. Hit me up offline. But we still have another week and a half for the food drive. The Amazon orders, like, it's crazy. Like, we already got a lot of Amazon packages, but we're getting more because so many people, and I have a pile here in the office. So I do appreciate that. Keep those donations coming. If you want to drop them off yourself, Matty Ann Dixon Community Cupboard in Ambler, right on Main Street. You can do that. You can Amazon them to me. Just let me know what you want. They're always looking for cash donations as well, if that's more your speed. But anything you can help this great organization out during the holiday season is much, much appreciated. If you are doing the reverse advent calendar at home with your kids like I'm doing with mine, today's advent calendar item for the donation are juice boxes. So if you have some juice boxes, get them donated, because obviously that's just a great, easy way. And try to get the healthier ones. No, I mean, most of them are pretty healthy at this point. Not like when we were kids when they were pure sugar. But get some juice boxes. That's today's reverse advent calendar item of the day. And then today's 25 Days of Kindness is the very, very simple one. And it's just so many times, and I see it no matter whether you're at the store, walking the street, wherever. People just have miserable looks on their face. Try to smile at someone. Just brighten their day. If somebody's looking like they're having a rough day, just smile and say hello. Very, very simple thing that everyone can do. But that is today's act of kindness. Just simply smile at someone who looks sad or mad or looks like they just need some type of encouragement. So very simple. Everyone can do that. All right. Sixers in action tonight down in D.C. to play the Wizards. By all accounts, it looks like Kelly Oubre will be back. They're starting that stretch now of games against teams with losing records, so it should be a good chance for them to get things right and really take stock and see what they have, what they need to do, and whether or not they're going to actually take a run at it this year or kind of just wait and see and use their resources to kind of build this offseason. I don't really have an opinion right now one way or the other because I would like to see. They were playing very, very well when everybody was there. But then once Oubre went out and then Joe got sick, and it's just been they haven't seemed like they had in the beginning of the season. So I don't know if that was sort of like the newness of having Nick Nurse as coach or what. So I'm anxious to see these next 7 games, really what we have and where we're going to go moving forward into the new year. All right, Eagles news. A couple different things here. First, there are a ton of different ways for them to clinch a playoff spot this week. Too many to get into. I mean, it's if they win and this team loses or ties, and it's still too complicated this far out. But there is an option where they could clinch a playoff spot this week. No word yet on if Shaquille Leonard is going to play or not this week. I did hear some people say don't be surprised if he is out there. So any little bit is going to help. I guess we'll know more today as they return to practice and get things moving that way. Congrats to Lane Johnson, who is their nominee this year for Walter Payton Man of the Year. It's always good. Like, it's one of the more prestigious awards, and I know the players really like it because it means you do more than just what you do on the field and do things in the community. I know Lane has been big with the whole mental health and just bringing awareness to things like that. So hopefully he's able to win that. But congrats to him. And really, we're going to really kick up the Eagles-Dallas stuff starting tomorrow because they practice today. But one thing I have to say, and I know we closed the book on the 49ers, but I have to bring it back up because it's rather annoying. So many Niners fans are talking now like, oh, all the Eagles did was talk about how the 49ers whined all offseason about this, about that, and blah, blah, blah. And I go on Twitter today, and all I see is Eagles fan whining. And maybe I'm missing it. I don't see any Eagles fan whining. Like, there's not one person I've talked to. I've listened to the sports talk radio stations between the morning show and Hugh and Joe's show and Marks and Reese show, and nobody's whining about anything. It's more we're complaining about our team. But, I mean, for the most part, nobody's bitching about the 49ers. Like, dude, are we on your mind that much? Like, maybe I'm missing it. Maybe people are whining. But to me, it's not about, oh, the refs did this or only if we did this. It's like, no, we got our asses kicked. And I think everybody in Philadelphia is like, okay, we got our asses kicked. We got some issues now, but hopefully we'll see them in the playoffs. But I don't think anybody's whining. But if I'm missing something and people are out there whining, let me know because I might be completely tone deaf to what's going on. But it's like, God, come on. And then on top of it being Dallas week and the cockroaches coming out of the woodwork. Jeez. But more on the game tomorrow. Less than 5 days to get your Christmas orders in from phillygoat.com. Their countdown is on. It's not too late, but if you wait around too long, it will be. They have all kinds of great stuff. They're always coming out with something new. Last week, they came out with, for the ladies out there, they came out with the Tush Push sweatpants as well as the Tush Push, I guess, for lack of a better way to put them, booty shorts. Pretty cool, the Kelly Green style with that kind of writing. So go check them out, phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off of your order. Help me out, help you out, help them out. Everybody's happy, but do it soon because time is running out to guarantee your orders for Christmas. So phillygoat.com, promo code Jim Montgomery. Not too late yet, but don't wait around and miss out on your opportunity. All right, today we're going to go back to 1979. And on this day in 1979, the Flyers beat the Kings 9-5. Kind of like, that's kind of a random thing. Well, they were down 3-0 after the first period. Reggie Leach then scored twice within 20 seconds within the first 2 minutes of the second period. So I think he scored, it was like 131 and 151. Scored 2 quick goals to get the Flyers back into it. Ken Lintzman then tied the game. And then Dennis Ververgaert, I think is his name. I was trying so hard to make sure I got that pronounced. You should see my notes sometimes. I literally write like I'm a kindergartner sounding out words phonetically sometimes, but I think it's Ververgart. He gave the Flyers a lead 25 seconds later after they tied it. They would score two more to go up 6-3 in the second. Pete Peters, the goalie, kind of shut them down after a rough first period. It snapped a game, and this is why it's important why we're talking about it, but it snapped a string of 3 straight ties for the Flyers, but more importantly, it extended their unbeaten streak to 23 games. That unbeaten streak that started on October 14th, they would eventually go 35 straight games without being beaten. They would finally lose on January 6th, or the streak extended till January 6th, so I'm assuming that was the day, but somewhere around there, the exact date. That is the North American sports record for most consecutive games without a loss, and that is still a record that stands today. That team clinched everything way, way early and kind of coasted at the end of the regular season, rolled through the playoffs, and then caught the Islanders in the Stanley Cup Finals, losing 4-2. But on this day, it was the Flyers beating the Kings 9-5. Reggie Leach with a hat trick, his 5th career hat trick, and it extended the Flyers' winning streak, or unbeaten streak, I should say, not winning streak, unbeaten streak to 23 straight games. They would get that up to 35 before losing. I also believe later in that season they had another like 11 or 12 game unbeaten streak too. It was just a dominant team that just caught the red-hot Islanders, who that Islanders team was ready to become a dynasty. So really no harm or no shame, I guess, in losing that, but it's a shame because they had that great stretch run from October to January where they were just unstoppable. But Reggie Leach with the hat trick. Flyers beat the Kings 9-5 on this day in 1979. All right, time for today's Philly Sports Advent Calendar. And there we go. Speaking of unbeaten streaks, my unbeaten streak of coughing or clearing my throat on this podcast, I'm about to 35. I cannot shake this cold. It's insane. But our Philly Sports Advent Calendar, there we go. I jinxed it. We open up the door, and today's gift is Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison is a North Philly native, played for Roman Catholic, went to Syracuse, did play with our man Donovan for a year up there. And when he graduated Syracuse, he was their all-time leading receiver, second in touchdowns. He's currently number 2 now in receiving yards there. He was drafted number 19 by the Colts in 1996. Don't worry, this is not one of those ones. Man, the Eagles could have drafted him. He went 6 picks before the Eagles picked, or before the Eagles drafted. So couldn't have drafted him. So thankfully, we didn't have to worry about that. There's not like a little, and the Phillies could have, or the Sixers. There's none of the Eagles could have had him. I'll get it. But he did team with Payton Manning. They won Super Bowl 41. Marvin was a 3-time All-Pro, 5-time All-Pro second team. He was an 8-time Pro Bowler, 2-time receiving yards leader, 2-time receptions leader. He's on the All-2000s All-Decade team for the NFL. He's on the NFL's 100th anniversary team, Colts Ring of Honor, All Big East in 1995, and he is a Pro Football Hall of Famer. His list of records that he has is just, it's insane. Like, it's way too much to kind of go through. We'd be here all day. But he is 9th on the all-time yards list with 14,500. He's 5th on the all-time receptions list with just over 1,100. He's also number 5 on receiving touchdowns with 128. He did have some issues off the field after his retirement, but overall, he is one of the best to ever do it. And for my money, it's somebody that, especially when Reggie Wayne started to become a star in Indianapolis, somebody that was always kind of one of those things like, man, if he could just come back to Philly and play with Donovan and rekindle what they had that year in Syracuse, because Donovan obviously was a much better quarterback by the time Marvin could have come back to the Eagles, but it's definitely somebody I always would have loved for him to come home and play a few years with Donovan. They certainly could have used him, but instead we had guys like Reggie Brown and Nay Brown and Freddie Mitchell. But His son, Marvin Harrison Jr., it pains me to say, because he's an Ohio State guy, but he is a Heisman Trophy finalist. He also went to St. Joe's Prep, so there's the dual connection there. But today, we celebrate. Our gift to you is Marvin Harrison, the North Philly native, who went to Roman Catholic, graduated from Syracuse, and starred for the Indianapolis Colts, becoming an NFL Hall of Famer, one of Philly's own. And I still wish he would have been able to play at least a couple years here in Philly with Donovan. It would have been great. I think it would have completely changed a lot of the dynamics of those teams. But alas, here we are. Marvin Harrison played his entire career with the Colts and was one of the best to ever do it. On this day, back in 1979, Reggie Leach scored a hat trick as the Flyers beat the Kings 9-5 to extend that unbeaten streak to 23. They would eventually get it to 35. It's Eagles-Dallas week. We're going to really start diving in to the game and the rivalry starting tomorrow. But Niners fans, do me a favor. Shut up. But today's question of the day, I almost forgot. Today's question of the day, dealing with Marvin Harrison, is which of these former Philadelphia athletes from Philadelphia, do you wish would have played for our local teams? Would it be Marvin Harrison, Mike Piazza, or Rasheed Wallace? Let me know. All three of those guys had great careers. Harrison and Piazza obviously are in the Hall of Fame. Wallace is just probably like a step down from being in the Hall of Fame. But which one of those three would you have rather seen play for our Philly teams? Let me know. It's Twitter and TikTok, Jimbo_Mont. Instagram, @PhillyJimbo. Be sure you can always just comment wherever you're watching or listening to this. Hit me up on Facebook. Shoot me a text message. Whatever you got to do, let me know which former athlete from Philadelphia native athlete, I should say, would you have wish would have played for our Philly teams? I'll get it out today, guys. I'm so sorry. Which Philadelphia native athlete would you have liked to have seen play for a Philadelphia sports team? There we go. Marvin Harrison, Mike Piazza, or Rasheed Wallace, let me know. Be sure to get your donations in for the Maddie and Dixon Community Cupboard. Today's calendar item is the juice box. Remember, random act of kindness, just smile at somebody. It's very easy to do. It doesn't cost a thing, and you can do it multiple times and make multiple people happy. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. I'm Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Wednesday, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.